Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have the top 16 breakdown for Cardimagico's Ultimate Cup that happened this past weekend. It was essentially the second Ultimate Cup we have here in NA, because we did have one at Gen Con a month ago, which is also on my website if you guys want to see how that one panned out. But we have this one here, and we do have Ultimate Cups for the rest of the month as well, with a couple different changes from the previous ones that we've had. But this was 346 players, 8 rounds of Swiss, best of 3, and it was also streamed on the Cardimagico Twitch channel as well, and it should be re-uploaded to their YouTube in the next couple of days as well. So shoutouts to also Joe Dobby for doing the streaming for it, and the commentary for it is really cool to see that. Make sure to follow them on YouTube as well. But we do have this top 16 breakdown, and pretty diverse for what we see. For this one, we have 4 red hybrids, one of them winning the event, 4 Mirage, 2 Alphamons, 2 Blue Flare, a yellow hybrid, a Bloomlord, a Belphemon, and a D Reaper to wrap it up. So a pretty good mix of things. And I also think like the restriction list did hit a couple decks that were pretty much prevalent in the previous ones. That means like Beelzy X and also like Machine Dramont and Bloomlord. I'd say those were pretty common up into this Ultimate Cup format. So being able to have a different restriction list and kind of curb those decks means there is a little bit more room for some different decks, which I think is really neat for that one. So, and then honestly, like these are pretty much the decks that I thought would be doing good. I did make a video like a couple days ago going over the ones that I thought, at least the newer ones, and I think I had Mirage, I had Alphamon, I said Rosemont, so Rosemont kinda is in the Bloomlord, and then Belphemon. So the only one I didn't think that could have a shot was Shine Gray. That even though it does have a restriction, I do think that it can be. It's still a really good deck, and it does have some really broken cards, which we'll see some of those broken cards I think in the yellow hybrid build too. So, but that's enough about that. Let's go over the top placing list for each one of these archetypes, starting off with our first place list. So this is Sam's red hybrid, and nothing really different has happened with red hybrid with this one. It's just a very strong aggressive deck. We did get a lot of good tools in BT12, including like just a whole new line of the Emperor Greymons and like your Agunimons and Burning Greymons. So being able to be one of the faster decks is really strong. And I also think that it was a deck that could potentially be countered by like Machine Dramont or some of the either faster decks or controlling decks. So I think with the new restriction list too, this is probably one of the better aggressive decks. It's hard aggro. There's not a lot of setup for it. You do have all your tamers and everything, and there's also some extension with the additions of Gravity Crush, Atomic Inferno as well to get the additional security attack +1, which people are running anyways, but I think Gravity Crush is just a bit of an option for it. And Crimson Blaze. So the only thing like you're really missing due to the color restriction, I feel, is the Bokomon, which does add like a little bit of more consistency, a little bit more searching, and can have some extension if it does survive a turn. You're able to use the memory gain from there, so I think that's good. And then also running the Solarmon as just neither player can reduce play cost, which I don't think happens as much in this format compared to the regular format, but I think it's fine for the slot there too. So this is Sam's list. Congratulations for their first place there. And then next up we do have Steven. This is additionally TrueChampionSteven as well, playing Mirage. And Mirage, I think, has been one of the more popular archetypes for this meta too. We're going to look at the Oceania results sometime later this week once I get them, but the top 4 of that event was all Mirages, which is pretty crazy for that. But this is just a solid deck in a lot of ways for just the extension it has, and the consistency, and just kind of also the disruption you get to do with the Mirage Galgamon, which again, this card is one of my favorite cards in the game right now. Just being able to have like this disruption effect on your opponent's turn to gain some memory. And it's really hard to play around this effect in some decks, which is really neat. And then we just also do have like the regular Mirage Galgamon and then the burst mode, and then you're running only 5 tamers for Steven's mode, which is a little small. It's a little, I'd say that's the smallest I'd ever run for this. I think at least I feel uncomfortable playing 6 sometimes because I still don't see him, but it definitely worked out for them in playing 3 of the 4-drop, which is the memory setter, and then only 2 of the one from BT4 that just lets you draw a card. So again, you do kind of need some tamers because you do have a lot of effects that depend on you having a tamer on the board, or obviously going into Mirage for free for the Burst Evolution. You do need to have the Thomas out, but we do have that there. So nothing much more to say. I think this is a strong deck for this format right now. I think a lot of people are on it, and congratulations for Steven for their second place finish there. Next up, we have Conor with their yellow hybrid, and this is like a little bit of like the shine. You'll see that obviously it does have some of the shine stuff, and more of the older stuff, but there is there for it. So not a lot of rookies. We play the Bushy, the Palomino again to can't play Digimon by effects, which honestly is a really strong effect too. That I think this Palomino I think is like the only one that exists. There might be one for like another color, but yellow has this one for sure. Agunimon as well, being able to have a start of your main phase. If you have a red or yellow tamer in play, you get to gain a memory, and then this is really great for once per turn when one of your yellow or red tamers becomes suspended, you get to draw a card. So if you use the where you can go up into your pieces, and then like this doesn't suspend tamers, but Rapidmon is nice here. But being able to suspend your tamers and get the draw is nice. And then we also have the Geogreymon, which is, again, I think this card is just busted for what it is. So when Digivolving, you search your security stack for a red or yellow tamer and play it. And then if you do, you get to recover one. And also, when one of your tamers is suspended, you get to delete one of your opponents with 3k or less. And then just kind of the generic more package for Hybrid. So only 6 of the level 4s, Kaustimons and the Zephyrmons, 1 of the Jet Sophie, 3 of the Rise Gray X, on top of having 4 of just the regular Rise Gray that does let you play the Tamer for free without their on-play effects, but that's not huge for you, especially since we're not playing the yellow Hybrid Tamer, technically. 3 of the Venusmons, which this is really obnoxious at saying a turn. So again, all of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -1, and then opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon security attack, anything can't attack and can't attack this Digimon, and can't activate when attacking or when digivolving effects. So essentially you're restricted to on-play effects and like option cards for potentially removing this, which is not very easy in a lot of builds. So we do have that. We have 1 of the OG Shine Greymon from BT2 to get some restriction. We also have War Gray, which lets you do a double attack as well by technically drawing a card, which being able to get into a certain range of life for your TKs and for your ties are really nice. And also the Shine Gray Ruin mode for this. So being able to give just the recovery there. So pretty interesting deck. I really do like Yellow Hybrid, and this looks really formatted for this format, and congratulations for Conor for their 3rd place finish there. Next up, we have Eddie on Bloomlord. I know that Eddie's been really trying, just been really playing Bloomlord a lot lately. So it's maybe not even lately, just plays a lot of Bloomlord. So this is a deck that I think has been guiding a little bit of support for. Without like hidden potential, you do lose out on like a lot of the extension that potentially could happen. Even if it was a one of that card, if you draw it, sometimes just said you win the game. So not having that card, I think, makes this deck a little bit less ceilingy, but it's still very consistent for what it does, being able to go into your pieces. And then so also Hydramon is at 1 copy of it, so you're not able to use the we're playing more Rosemon, which are fairies, which are nice because you do have your Palmon and your Lalamon who search for vegetation, plant, and fairies. So being able to do that, I decided to use the Mimi package and not running the Yoshino package as well. I know the Yoshino package has been getting a little bit more popular in the regular format, so but deciding just to use Mimi, which Mimi I think is still fantastic, and obviously it's just been around for so long because it has been so good. And then 2 copies of the Quartzmon. I think that there are some decks that just literally can't beat this in the format, especially some like we didn't see any All Force for this event, but like Quartzmon can definitely shut down that deck. And All Force is usually moderately popular in as a blue mono deck, but I think maybe Mirage has been a little bit more popular than it currently. So, but other than that, very strong deck, being able to get really wide boards, and then since Death X isn't around, and I think some of the more common punishes for it aren't around as much, you can kind of get away with it too. So this list for Eddie, congratulations for their 4th place finish there. And then we have a couple more decks outside the top 4. So we have Kevin with their Alphamon, and obviously Alphamon pretty much exists again, since obviously like the only card we needed was this card for it, and so that exists now, so we're fine with it. And we're running a little bit more of a, I'd say, like greedy high package, in the sense that we're running 3 of the Alphamon and 2 of the, like we have 8 of these level 6s on there. So, but yeah, this Alphamon I think is really great. It's from the new set, being able to use the effect to prevent your opponents with a cost of 10 or higher to attack players, but also by having like some really good protection with it. Arurumon being able to get another swing is really great, especially with one of these Yuyas out on the board. You can kind of slot in 2 and get like that additional effect, which is really great. We aren't playing any of the final Zubagon Punch, but we are playing Iron Fisted Onslaught for some removal, which is I think again needed in this format at sometimes, because there are some decks that make some really big cards, and we have to get rid of, and like a really good security. And then also Kongu for kind of like the other end. So with play cost of 7 or less, can't attack players. So kind of the top end and bottom end for it. A couple of black memory boost, and then a single copy of Coda as well. But generically, what it is, I am surprised they are playing like as much as like the Dax Dorogray without the Cool Boy, since that card usually helps facilitate that, but not super needed, and also the Dex Dorogamon. So obviously this is a deck that does miss Cool Boy, and sometimes like you play like one copy of X Antibody, but I think the deck is still very strong without it, and there's a lot of good plays you can still do. So this is Kevin's list. Congratulations to Kevin for their finish there. And then we have Sergey, who's been playing Belphemon for a while. Obviously Sergey is really, really good at, I'd say, like purple and kind of like combo decks, and I know that they've been on Belphemon for quite a minute. So this is their list here. Pretty interesting build for this one. I don't know why this one's all the way over here, because is it starter deck? That's weird. It should be over here. But the fact that like this is definitely a combo deck in the sense that you want to get into your sleep mode, and then you can go into the rage mode and get some effects for it. This obviously I think is a good matchup against Bloomlord. Despite all the other decks, like this one can really clear the board really nicely, which is nice. And then just kind of have like this is full power essentially for this format. And I think that sometimes in regular regionals format, this deck was a little bit slow due to the fact that you did have to set up, you did have to see your pieces and kind of go from there. But once you're able to do that, you really go off, and your opponent has like a really hard to interact with. And like just the fact, like if they have like the sleep mode out and with the Ostamon underneath it, there's just being able to play something, or even just like with the Akihiro, they just guarantee they get to do all their effects, and there's literally not like anything you can do besides getting rid of the Tamer itself without attacking, because they can play something from underneath it. So it's very tricky to interact with this deck once they find all their pieces. And then looking at the main deck, so we have the Gazimon and the 3 copies of Psychomon. We do also have the Ogremon and the Dobermon and Devimon. So all these are just kind of like a toolbox of level 4s that you can play off the Ostamon effect, which is really nice. Ogremon being able to trash something from your hand to delete a level 4 or lower. Dobermon being able to find a piece, including one of your purple Tamers, and add it to your hand. And Devimon just being a blocker, which can help extend for your, like, you can negate an attack, discard 2, play a blocker, and then you like stop 2 attacks, which is really great. So other than that, I think this deck is really strong. I think Sergey is really strong with it, and that is there. And then to wrap it up, we have Mario's 10th place D Reaper. I don't have a lot to say about this. Obviously, this is just a EX2 deck, just with how Mother works. I do think it's funny that like X Antibody is banned in this format for pretty much every deck except for this one, because it is mono white, so it's really fun. And obviously I think he's going to probably make a video on going over the specifics for it. There's not like a lot of I'd say like creativity in especially like a monocolor format for this deck, because it is just kind of a known archetype, but I do think it's a really good meta call for it. I think there's a lot of decks that don't give security attack +1 right now. That Gatekeeper is really good at being a gatekeeper because of it. And there's it kind of puts some decks on a clock until you set up, and in a slower format like this one, I feel like that clock is really, really important for it. So that's all I have for this one. Congrats to Mario for their top 16 finish, and that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to be on the lookout for other Ultimate Cup format results that I'll be doing on this channel in the next couple weeks, and make sure to check out the website for BT13 regular and in Ultimate Cup breakdowns as well. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.